In studio alongside CBS NFL analyst Emery Hunt, joined by the two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden, here to react to what we saw in this one. We knew the implications coming in, big-time playoff seeding and division implication even on one side of this, Emery. Impressions of what the Rams did on this day, on the offensive side specifically, the ease with which they moved the ball against a defense that had only given up 1 touchdown in 11 quarters, told you what about where LA is right now as a group?
That they're developing the offensive line right where it needs to be to have success, because we saw the Saints stay at bay for the most part of that ball game. They wasn't getting pressure on Matthew Stafford. We saw Cam Jordan being blocked one-on-one often in this ball game. We saw the run game have their way with the Saints front four and also those linebackers. So we saw the offensive line really grow up. And if that's going to be the case moving forward, then this Rams team, we know they have the pieces on the perimeter. We know they have pieces in the backfield. You're going to see this type of performance moving forward. It's going to be exciting to see how they finish the rest of the way.
Needs to show all of us that their offense is legit. And Matthew Stafford, I don't know exactly what is in his diet or what he's drinking, but whatever it is helping him become an elite-like quarterback over the last final stretch of ball games throughout this season. I mean, this is the same offense, guys. Remember, a few weeks ago, went to Baltimore and scored 31 points against the Baltimore Ravens. This is the same offense at home, played against the Cleveland Browns defense, right? And put up over 30 points as well. So they're just playing some of their best football at the more critical moments of ball games, not to mention the more critical moments of the season. And because of that, they have an inside track to land one of these available spots in the playoffs. And I can tell you this much, I understand when you look at playoff teams and who may face off against who, but when you talk about the championship-like experience they have with their head coach and their quarterback and the way their offense is clicking right now, if they happen to get into the tournament, I mean, this might not be the partner you want to spar with because they might put you to sleep.
8-7. Looking at the Giants and then the Niners. We're going to have a full conversation about what this means from playoff standpoint later on in the hour. But in terms of what we saw over this 60 minutes of football, Emery, I want to talk to you about Puka Nacua because it went from fun story, oh my gosh, who is this guy filling in for Cooper Kupp in his absence, to a bona fide number one amongst another number one. I mean, we're looking at his numbers coming off of this one. Nacua, 9 receptions for $164 and a touchdown, featured in the run game, featured in the pass game. This was the offense in this matchup. Was this matchup based, or is this the biggest mouth to feed on this offense right now?
I think it's all of those things when you're talking about Puka Nacua. And this is a 5th round pick we're talking about. And this is why I want to stress to these guys out there that talk about the draft, there's more than one round in the NFL draft. You could find players everywhere. And Les Snead, the general manager for the Los Angeles Rams, is showing you that each and every week with how many guys step up and play well. Puka Nacua is the story here. But how about Ronnie Rivers, the other back that came in when Kyron Williams got injured for a little bit, missed a couple of plays, but Ronnie Rivers is out there running the football. We talked about the slew of 6th-round picks in the secondary making plays. Jordan Fuller had an interception today. We saw Kobe Durant do a great job in coverage. So this is a football team that is finding great talent outside of the 1st round. They're getting developed by their head football coach, Sean McVay, and also on the other side of the ball, defensive coordinator Raheem Morris doing his job with a young defense, and they're getting pressure on the quarterback. They're turning the ball over. They're getting stops on 3rd down. They're forcing teams to punt the football. This is a team that is from top to bottom showing you the value of a great GM, great scouts who go out there and find guys at these lower-level all-star games, and great coaches that are teachers and developers of talent, and he's playing the guys that earn the right to play. So this is why we're seeing these type of guys like Puka Nacua and everyone else have so much success.
You know, Sean McVay reminds me of one of my old aunts. You know, they used to love going to yard sales. And, you know, as a kid, you're like, why are you always going to a yard sale to go get some old furniture? But they go to a yard sale, get a great deal on a piece of furniture and put it in their house. And the way they add different little accessories to it, it looks brand new and it fits. That's who Sean McVay is as a coach. He's a guy that can find a diamond in the rough that many people might not know about or might not expect anything significant coming from, and voila. It works perfectly. That's what we're seeing with Puka Nacua throughout the entire season. We all know now this guy's a consistent playmaker. Early in the year, the first month and a half, we're like, he might die down at some point in time. No, not when he's being coached by a guy like Sean McVay, one of the best coaches in regards to putting his players in positions to be successful. What about DeMarcus Robinson? Tonight, once again, balled out. The last 3 ball games, if I'm not mistaken, he's had a receiving touchdown. So when you talk about Sean McVay, we've seen this time time and time again. Odell Beckham Jr., when he left Cleveland, many people felt like he didn't have anything left in the tank. Gets inside that offense, and then, wow, outstanding play until he tore his ACL. The same can be said for guys like Robert Woods as well, Vance Jefferson. So when you factor in this offense under Sean McVay and the way he's able to strategize and put his players to be in positions to be successful, I mean, this is who he is as a coach. That's why he's one of the best coaches in the National Football League.
It's looking real good in that living room right now. Maybe the interior decorator, maybe we call Sean McVay. We're working on it. LA, 5 straight games with 28-plus points coming out of that offense. Call it what you want. It is effective at the most important time right now. Winners in 5 of 6, and that sports line projection for playoffs skyrocketing to 65.7%. That is without the context of what else happens here in Week 16. We must add. We must also have a conversation about a Saints team that knew the situation quite well. It's not all lost yet because that division is still dire, nor is the wild card, but things do get harder from here. Felt like the Saints' game plan, quarters 1 through 3, and the Saints' game plan in quarter 4 were completely different. Yes, you're playing from behind, a little bit more free-wielding, but Alvin Kamara, a bigger part of that offense. Did you see the same, B-Mac, in terms of what you were watching? It felt like fourth quarter, this Saints team finally came to life, let their hair down, and started playing the football maybe we expected in quarter 1.
Well, it seemed like Joe and Emery in the fourth quarter, they had a sense of urgency. It was like, now it's go time. We didn't really see that. And I tell you, one thing that really confused me as well, right before halftime, you're down 10-7. It's 4th and 5.
You punt.
It's 50 seconds left to go. You're basically at midfield. Punt the football, coach. Punt the football. Worst case scenario, when you look at the time, if you punt the football and you pin them back, the Rams are okay going into half, only up 3 points. Now, mind you, in the half of play, it felt like the Rams were dominating that ball game, but they had some issues in the red zone that they were only able to, put 10 points on the scoreboard. So, Coach Dennis Allen, punt the football, a questionable decision there. And then, of course, when you block the punt, you score a touchdown, you get the 2-point conversion. It's over 3 minutes left. I know you don't have any timeouts. Kick the ball deep. Kick the ball deep and make them become a more conservative offense based on where the ball is placed. You onside kick, you instantly gave them favorable field position, and not to mention the playbook is basically wide open because of where they're located on the football field. Those are 2 things that definitely confused me, especially right before halftime, because I felt like when you went for it and you didn't get it, you set Matthew Stafford up in prime position to be able to, worst case scenario, attempt a field goal right before halftime. Best case scenario, they score points, and it was all because of that decision by Dennis Allen.
You know what's crazy, man? Everyone has talent in the NFL. So talent is talent regardless of where you are in the National Football League. But it really comes down to situational football, and B-Mac laid it out perfectly. If you're not coaching well situationally, you're going to lose more games than you win. And that's the significant advantage the Rams had over the Saints in this ball game. The coaching advantage showed itself big in these clutch moments, in these situational moments. Also, I like to say this a lot because it really answers the question to when people see things happen out there on the field offensively and wonder why things are the way they are. The Saints are running plays. They're not running an offense. So it's like, okay, we got to get the ball to Kamara. Let's throw him a couple of short passes. Oh, we got to hand the ball off to Kamara. Instead of running an offense, having things set up on one another and layering your routes and all the kind of things that you see the Rams do or any other functional offense do. And also to wrap it up, we hadn't seen the Saints play a full 60-minute game. If they played the back end, the first half of the game like they played the back end of the game, maybe this game is a lot closer than what the score indicates, and maybe this game could be a win for New Orleans, but we haven't seen them put together a full 60-minute game, complete game, all season long, which is why they're swimming just under 500.
Mac, you said it, sense of urgency. If not now, then when? The urgency heightened now following this loss, a big one coming up in that division against the Bucs in Week 17. We'll see what the Saints do. We saw plenty from L.A. in this one as they are above 500 for the first time since 1-0 in Week 1. Mac, Emery, great stuff as always. And don't forget, oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
We're sneaking up on me with this one. You know where to be this Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. That's with us, right here on Game Day Scoreboard. I promise to be, well, almost as festive.
That got to be Photoshopped.